In this video, I'd like to present my latest efforts at connecting my notes to more AI agents and different workflows, not just for myself, but for other people that use Workflowy as their primary note-taking application, and that is doing it through the command line interface. So why did I even do this? What's a command line interface? If you use the terminal at all for coding or for just accessing agents or messing with your computer, then basically the easiest way to do stuff on your computer without using the mouse and the keyboard. It gives you the most access to the actual software running your machine. And so that means if we can get agents to access our notes through that, we have a lot of power and a lot of tooling available for us. So that's the command line interface part. But what about the Workflowy part? For me, Workflowy is where my context lives. It's where I keep all my notes. It's where they start. They don't always stay inside of Workflowy, but this is the starting point. It is the capture point, the inbox for all my notes, all my thoughts, all my web clippings. And so that's where all my context is. And so I need AI agents to be able to access those notes to do all kinds of useful things that I've now incorporated into my life. And so what the command line interface lets me do is connect all my AI tools to it. It serves as a single bridge for AI agents, scripts, automation, and of course, humans like yours truly. And it turns Workflowy into your database. That's kind of the way I've been using it for the past couple of weeks as I've been putting this together. But essentially it becomes the single source of truth for myself and for my AI agents. Instead of having notes for the agents or a memory system for the agents that they then use to help me automate things or do my work, I just have them read my notes and we keep notes together in the same place. And that makes things a lot easier for me when I want to look at the notes, when I want to capture notes, when I want to write notes inside of Workflowy. It's still the best interface for me to actually do that. But now all my tools have access to those notes for all kinds of things. So that's what the CLI is all about, and I'm going to walk you through it. By the way, you can skip ahead if you just want to get into the information about how to install it. The link for the repository on GitHub is going to be in the description, along with some instructions. It's very, very simple, and it's also very simple to update once you've got it set up. So now let me get right to it. We're going to do just a quick setup check before starting the demo, just to make sure that I've got the right version installed, it's authenticated, the API is accessible, and the cache is ready. So I'm going to open up the commands, and here I've got the terminal on the right side. And the way we access it once it's installed is WF and then whatever the command is. So I'm running version 3.1.8. By the time you see this video, it's probably going to be further along as I've spent a bit more time to add more features that I have in mind, but I haven't been able to add just yet. So now we're going to run WF doctors. Let me know if everything is set up correctly. If the system has been cached, the API key, my Workflowy API key is connected. I also have some AI stuff in there that I'll mention a little towards the end. And also we have auto completion and things like that, all kinds of really interesting stuff. So I'm just going to run this last command right here, WF self update. I'm not going to run check, just like that. And it's going to see if we've got the latest version from the GitHub repository. So that's all good. All right. Now that everything is set up, I'm going to jump into the first demo. It's going to be a series of demos, just kind of give you an idea, give you a taste of the kinds of things you can do through the command line interface. So the first one is you can set bookmarks for quick access. If you've already used the MCP server before, or maybe the Claude Cowork integration that I created, you already know all about this. We already have access to that, but you can also now do it from the command line interface. So for example, we can do WF targets. And this is going to give us all the targets. Really, they're just bookmarks inside of my account. This is one of my many Workflowy accounts. You can see I've got some random stuff in here. That's just for me. It's kind of how I organize my stuff. And that's how my agents know where to put all the different things because we have bookmarks. So I don't have to search through the entire account each time. When I give it instructions, it's able to find the inbox, pull things from it, organize them in my calendar, put them in the right sections for the different days of the week. I just have a whole setup in there, and the bookmarks make that really, really easy. So that's one of the things we can do. We can also do WF read. Here's how I'm going to use the new targets or bookmarks. And then I'm going to set a flag for the depth. So by default, we go down 2 levels, but you can change this if you want to see all the interesting stuff inside there. And I tried to mirror Workflowy's layout so it's not too unfamiliar. It looks kind of like Workflowy inside the terminal. Obviously still tweaking that. You can see we've got the little marks here to show you that there is content inside. Once I show some other items, you'll be able to see how there are some different icons that we have in there. I'm going to go ahead and copy this one right here now, the one for YouTube, just so you can get kind of a sense of the different things we've got in here. Obviously, I've got the window a little bit kind of squished so that things are not as well displayed as I'd like, but once you actually have it at a reasonable size, everything you can view very nicely. So what we're actually seeing here is the YouTube bookmark at a depth of 2, and that's where you can see the different nesting down 2 levels. And if you're a Workflow user, you know all about notes inside the Workflow app. That's what we're seeing here with these lighter gray items. So this just kind of allows us to browse the different sections of our Workflow account using either the bookmarks, we can set the custom depth, and lastly, we would also be able to use the note ID. I wouldn't do that because I'm a human, but an agent would absolutely know how to use that. And it's the same sort of a thing. So you don't just target things that you've bookmarked. Once the agent or you know the ID for the item, you can create a bookmark or just use that ID to target it and do all kinds of things with it. So that's just kind of showing you how to get to the right place and set up these bookmarks. The way that I set them up is obviously through AI. You can do it all manually, but it's very slow, so I wouldn't recommend it. I'm just kind of showing you the different ways that you can use the command line interface. Moving on to demo 2, I'm going to just show you some of the searches you can do. One important thing to note is that the account is cached, so search is really, really fast, even faster than it happens inside of the Workflowy app. The reason we do that is because we are accessing Workflowy through their official API. And if we were to try to pull all the information at the same time or as you're accessing it, we would immediately get rate limited, and then they would not let us access the API for a while. So the thing we do is we cache everything, and that allows us to do all kinds of interesting things on top of that, a cache that we can then push into the cloud, into where Workflowy actually holds your data. And you can also target specific areas, just like in the app, the same way you would do it through a search. So for example, I'm going to now, if I could select this here, we're going to search in my Workflowy account for the word obsidian, and the target is going to be my YouTube section, my YouTube bookmark, and I'm going to limit it to just 5 items. I've got 1 result, and it's also letting me know here that the cache is 20 minutes old. I could update the cache if I want to. An agent running this would be able to see that and then be able to update it. But because I'm not actually doing anything inside the account, it's totally fine. I can trust this. Below the actual result, we get some breadcrumbs to let us know where this item is. Again, it's a little bit hard to see just because everything is kind of squished, and I've got it zoomed in just so you can see the text, but it does actually work pretty well when you're using it at a reasonable terminal text size. So here's another one I'm going to do. It's just now searching for obsidian, limiting it to 5 items, but I'm not targeting any specific thing. It just searched through my entire account, something like 8,000 items. As you can see, that was really, really fast, much faster than even doing it inside of Workflow. And again, we just get access to those notes, and it lets us know where they actually are. So that's search. And of course, this is just one tiny little thing you can do. And you can imagine how an AI agent chains these together to very quickly find the information. You can give it some very vague instructions. It's able to then quickly search through your entire account, find all the pieces it needs, and then do whatever it is you want it to do with your notes. Moving on to the third demo, I'm going to show you capturing without switching apps. If you happen to live in the terminal, you use a terminal, a lot of developers do. This is their IDE. This is where they code and kind of manage all their systems from. You can actually capture straight from the terminal into Workflowy. You can target any one of the bookmarks that you set up. So let me just show you how that works. Here is one example command. Put this here. And so we've got Workflowy add, and then I'm targeting the inbox, and then just putting whatever it is that I want to capture. So I hit enter. There we go. It's added it to the inbox. And now we're going to just very quickly read this back just to make sure it's in there. You'll notice we have this additional tag here, -live. That's because, like I said, we are caching your account just to speed everything up. But if you want to make sure that you get the latest information, it actually is pulling in real time through the API, then you go -live with that flag. And now we'll see the actual results straight from Workflowy servers. And here we've got that right here, idea, Workflowy CLI, blah, blah, blah. We've got a bunch of other stuff in here, right? Don't pay too much attention to this. This is just a bunch of tests and things. Hopefully there's not anything inappropriate in here. I didn't really check it that much, but anyway, this is the real account that I actually use. So that is how you can capture without switching apps. Next up, I'm going to show you how to turn your outline into data that's a bit more structured for actual automations and scripting and things like that. The way I've been using it here is really just showing you how you can sort of use Workflowy inside of the terminal. And it works decently well if you're just checking things, maybe adding things, simple things. You probably don't want to be doing much of that manually inside the terminal yourself, but you can. But what's most useful is if you can actually output this information in JSON, because that's what allows AI agents to know a bunch of stuff about those nodes, including their IDs, and then it lets them do all kinds of things on top of it, like change them, move them around, pretty much anything you can do yourself in your Workflowy account. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. The first command I'm going to use here is just with the flag here, agent, and that's going to turn the results, whatever the output would have been, instead of this kind of nicely formatted quasi workflowy outline style, into something that an agent is going to be able to more easily use. So we're just syncing, and now we get a timestamp, we get the version of the command line interface, we get the number of nodes, just some more useful stuff. And I'm going to show you another example here. We're going to skip the second one. We're just going to go for search because I think this one's going to be more interesting. Clear this out. And so here we're going to, again, search just for the word Obsidian. The target is, again, YouTube, limiting 5 and adding the agent flag. So now we get the same one single result, but it is formatted nicely in JSON. And we get some other information as if we were accessing the API directly. Things like, if it has a note, doesn't have a note, the type that this bullet is, it's bullets. If it is a to-do, we would have information about it being completed. And it's also got, information about the children, all kinds of other things. And so that's what allows the agent to do all kinds of things on top of the information just by adding this -agent flag. So that's how we can turn our outline into data. And then we can use this as input for scripting, for automation, all kinds of things, because we need it in a very standardized format to be able to run processes on top of it. You can imagine you might export every day all the stuff you've got in your inbox with a script. What's really nice about this is all just code and accessing the API. There is no AI being used here. And so you can chain the different processes. You can pull stuff from the inbox or various sections that you've got bookmarked in your Workflowy account every day. Maybe you have a cron job that you run at 5 a.m. that pulls from the inbox or pulls from your entire account, and it looks for items that are to-dos and have today's date or whatever it is, and then it emails them to you or something like that. You can do all that because you have access to it in JSON as well through the terminal, and so that opens up a world of scripting and automation. The next thing I want to show you is AI edits with guardrails. So the way I use Workflowy is really I connect my notes to AI, and then I do all kinds of things with it. I take the notes and then ask AI to summarize them, reorganize them. We have brainstorming sessions. After that session, I ask it to capture that information in various parts of my account. So there's all kinds of back and forth happening. And that's pretty cool if you're already comfortable with using AI through something like Claude Code or Codex or Craft Agents. There's a bunch of different applications that let you connect through various means to your notes. So that's fine and dandy if you're like me and you're already very AI pilled. But let's say you're not, and you just want this command line interface to maybe run some automations, extract data from Workflowy, maybe push some stuff on your computer that you're getting from somewhere else into Workflowy on a regular basis, like backing it up or whatever you might be doing. But you also want to try out some of those AI features. You can now do that with this command line interface. So what I've added is like a very simple layer, just a simple command that allows you to connect currently any model that's available through OpenRouter, which has pretty much every single major model that you could ever want. By the time the video releases, I should have added the ability to also add keys for things like Anthropic, OpenAI, possibly Gemini, maybe Ollama, but let me know in the comments if you are so I can actually figure out what to prioritize. But what you can do is actually just skip all that. You don't have to use any of those other tools. If you add an API key for OpenRouter, you have access to the same kinds of things without having to run all these other systems. And because it's available in the terminal, you can have this as a step along a longer, more complex automation. So you can do things like, again, maybe pulling from the different bookmarked areas that you maybe keep your projects in. So that's just the code running every day and pulling that information. But then what you could do next is have the AI do something on top of those notes, summarize them, reorganize them, turn them into something else. And then again, because all that's just happening in the terminal, you can then hand that over to another step in your process, turn it into an email, turn it into an MP3 summary for your podcast while you're jogging, all kinds of things. And so it's like a very simple, lightweight way to add a little bit of AI in case you want to transform your Workflowy notes somehow, but you don't want to get into that whole mess of setting up Claude Code and keeping it up to date and all those other things. You can just add AI for those light touches in case you want to do that. And by the way, you don't actually have to add this at all. This is completely optional. You don't have to add AI to use the command line interface. But if you want to have a little bit of AI power in here without going through the whole rigmarole of setting up Claude Code, you can do something like this. So the command is AI:propose, and then just like you're talking to the AI, you set the command. You can choose the different models. There is a command to set that. And so what I'm doing here is asking, create a preview only, propose adding one child bullet under the @inbox target with the exact text. Demo scratch item for CLI video, do not move or rename existing notes. This is just for demo purposes. You can see, there we go. It's off and generating the proposal. And in a moment, once it's done, we'll see a preview of what it's actually going to do. So here's the proposal. Here is the instructions that we gave it. And here is the preview. So one change, and that is just inserting demo scratch item for CLI video in the inbox, which is exactly what we asked for. There's only one thing in the inbox, so that's the only item it would change. And then it gives us two options. We can either go Workflowy AI apply to execute, or Workflowy AI reject to discard. And at any point, we can just kind of leave this as it is, do a bunch of other stuff, come back to it at any point. So I'm just going to clear it. And anytime we can come back and see we've got that pending proposal, and then we can go WF reject, and now it's gone. No changes made. So this can get much more advanced. You can move things around, you can add things, remove things, all kinds of interesting stuff, and you get a nice preview of just kind of what it's going to do before it actually does it. What's really cool though is this is a safer way of making those changes. Most other AI models are just going to do the thing unless you ask it specifically to give you a preview, depending on where you're using it. So this is kind of just, I thought, a nice way to feel a bit more comfortable starting to use AI to mess with your notes before it actually makes those changes on your account for realsies. But if you want to use it as part of a step in an automation, there is a flag for actually auto accepting the proposal. So you can tell it, do such and such, and then auto accept whatever change, and then hand it over to the next step in that automation or whatever you're doing with your scripting. So that is demo number 5. Demo number 6 is agents and MCP. So I'm showing you how to use the CLI interface. Agents can do this. It's very simple. They already are trained on a lot of data on how to do this, but we also have the MCP server inside the command line interface. So there is a way to actually access it if you are moving over from using the previous Workflowy MCP server that I have shared on the channel and through GitHub. I was using it pretty much every single day up until I started working on the command line interface project. If you want to make a very smooth transition without messing up your workflow, you can just install this, get rid of the MCP server app, and then ask your agent to connect through this. And it's exactly the same thing. So it'll be updated constantly, and it has the exact same features. You can have multiple accounts and ask the agent to switch across them. Same deal, except now it's in the command line as well. So let me just show you very quickly. This command here, Workflowy MCP --help. It's going to give us all the different instructions for how to set this up. You can just hand this over to an agent, ask them to set it up. And this is honestly the only line you would really need to copy. And then obviously it's going to ask you for your Workflowy API key. And that's pretty much it. The same way as with the other MCP, it's going to list all the tools. Once the agent tries to connect to it, the move tool, the add tool, the delete tool, all that good stuff. So just multiple ways of using the command line interface. You don't have to pick one over the other. Just install this, get rid of the other one. And if at any point you want to do automations, you can use this. If you maybe are just curious and they want to experiment a bit, but still are using the MCP, or this is your first time using the MCP, this is a pretty good way to quickly get set up and not miss out on all the different ways that you can connect Workflowy to AI. And so the last thing I want to show you is just interactive mode. This is the least polished bit of the demo, but depending on if people are interested, and I might polish it a little bit more. Once it's installed, you can just go WF, and we're going to get a couple of things here. We're going to get a big blurb that shows us all the different commands that we've got here. So this is a pretty cool way to learn what kinds of things you can do, especially if you're going to do some scripting. Now, obviously, you can ask your agent to handle all this for you, but as we add more features, all kinds of very interesting things coming in the future, you can just learn how they work here, the different flags and so on. And you can just do the same sorts of things that you would do in the terminal in here. You get a couple of additional things. You get command history, you get tab completion for commands and for targets. And like I said, it shows all the commands. So it's just a slightly friendlier way to learn the tool. So I already typed in WF. I'm going to type in help. And again, we're just going to get some more information on the different commands. And it's going to copy and paste, but let's just go ahead and manually type this here. Same sort of a thing. So it just saves you from having to type WF every single time, plus these other features. And when you're done, just type exit. And there you go. You're back to the terminal. So that is it for the Workflowy command line interface. If you've previously used the MCP server, or you're trying to do some automations where Workflowy's stuff is part of that, like maybe the notes, maybe your projects, meeting notes, calendar things, now you have another way to access all of that. And yeah, I don't know, just something I wanted to really experiment with. I saw some people trying to do that. I had some ideas myself for things that I might want to automate. And doing that through the MCP server requires a bit of complicated setup. So if I could just put this in the terminal once and for all, and also add MCP for the people that just want to have everything nice and easy, then why not? And that's what we've got here. So I'm going to be continually updating this, but I really want to hear from other people that actually install it, try it out, and what are they trying to do with it so that I know what direction I need to go with next. But like I said, I've been using this for the past 3 weeks. I haven't honestly noticed any differences other than now I have a bunch of additional capabilities. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Links for the actual way to download this from GitHub and the instructions for installing it, which are very, very simple, are going to be in the description. It's going to be the first thing. If you have any questions at all, be sure to let me know. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed it so you don't miss out on my next crazy note-taking AI projects. So see you in the next one.